So, hi again, everybody, and welcome to episode number 21 of Jonnychipz Weekly. It is Friday lunchtime. It is the 21st of May, 2021, and it's time for episode number 21. So yeah, hi again, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in on your Friday lunchtime. Obviously, if you're watching this live, thanks so much. I'll be in the comments below. But if you're watching this on the rerun, huge thanks for joining in. Please do like and subscribe to my channel. It'd be really helpful, and I would appreciate that if you could. So yeah, still been a bit of a challenging few weeks for me, obviously with my personal circumstance at the moment. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody for still for the words of support and encouragement that I'm getting from all you guys in the community. It really does mean a lot. So I'm going to keep to similar process this week for my episode number 21. I'm going to jump straight over to the desktop and we're going to have a look at some community callouts to begin. So, okay, we'll get to the Welsh Azure user group stuff at the moment, but there was one thing I just wanted to obviously show everybody at the moment is what I picked up. We had the virtual data center tour last night at the Welsh Azure user group. We'll get to that in a second, but one of the things that I picked up from there was Mark O'Neill, who was taking the tour for us, pointed out this sustainability calculator, which I thought was pretty neat, especially if your business is obviously in the business for watching their carbon footprint and understanding how much energy and carbon their resources are actually utilizing. So if you browse or just do a quick search for the Microsoft Sustainability Calculator, you'll be taken to this page where you can actually click on Get the Calculator and you can download and install this Microsoft Sustainability Calculator. It's a Power BI app, so it'll install into a Power BI workspace, I believe. So I've just fired it up this morning because I thought it was actually pretty cool. You can, this what you're seeing on screen at the minute is set up with some demos, some sample data, but it kind of gives you the idea of you can attach this to your subscription or subscriptions, and you can get a kind of point in time and a look at actually what you're running in Microsoft data centers, in the Azure data centers, how much CO2 it's producing from the energy consumption, obviously looking at what your consumption has been over the years and looking at your carbon intensity, things like that. You can drill down into things like the emission details of all the resources that you've got running across the Azure data centers. You can actually drill down, and there's a cool Power BI dashboard to give you that information. Now, this is the first time I saw it, so I thought I just wanted to share that first off the bat. In my community call out, I thought it was a really interesting concept, something I hadn't seen. We can see that the calculator, excuse me, is in preview at the moment, but jump on in, have a look, see how you get, how you find it, because it looks really interesting. So obviously pass it up through the channels, and it might be a really interesting piece of an application that you can use within your business to glean the information that you might want. So that was my first piece. Moving on to my community call out, my good friend Mert. We always clash, Mert. We need to talk. We need to work out when we're doing our user group sessions. But as always, Mert, I love Mert's sessions because he has such interesting guests on. He's just got a great way about him and how he presents his sessions. But last night, clash with the Welsh user group, but Mert was on with the guys over at the Bradford Cloud user group. So we, obviously Saj, Imran and Shabazz. I did watch it back. Thanks for the call out, guys. I do appreciate it. And it was really cool to see Imran taking the plunge into IoT. Man after my own heart. We both bought the IoT dev kit, the MK chip, so MX chip. So, just wanted to call this out. It's a really cool conversation, obviously, with the guys at the Bradford Cloud user group. Mert was kind of probing them for questions on what it takes to set up a user group and, what's involved. How do you kind of balance that whole work life with, obviously, your family and making sure that you've got time to spend with the family, as well as doing the stuff that you're passionate about, which, for a lot of us in the community is tech and cloud and things like that. So it was really great conversation. So, if you're interested, head on over to the Azure Live twitch.tv channel. That should be up on YouTube as well at some point soon, but it's there available for a watch if you want to take a look at that. So really insightful, and obviously the Mert and the guys over at the Bradford Cloud user group, they're a great bunch of guys. So go and give them a little watch. I feel like I always repeat myself. I've got to get Pete on you. Pete, we've got to talk. We've got to get you on when I record these sessions. Just, if nothing more, just to have your face in the corner as I speak. Or I need a little emoji, Pete alert. As always, guys, I wouldn't call IoT Live if I wasn't passionate about what those guys are up to as well. They're still on their journey with Paul DiCarlo at the moment, looking at the NVIDIA Jetson Nano, with Paul taking Cliff through the whole journey, and Pete there as a comforting, sort of overwatcher, I guess. Pete, is that what you're doing? But no, I mean, honestly, it's such... I know I've spoken a lot about the work that Paul has done over the last year or so, and obviously if you followed what I've been up to, I've gone through it, and now Cliff is going through it. So I'd like to think at some point we can do some collaboration with the whole object detection. I've already greased the wheels with Cliff a little bit on that, but brilliant stuff. I mean, I know, I appreciate, sometimes these times don't work for everybody, whether you're working or whether it's late at night, that you can't get on, obviously, because you've got family and things like that. But honestly, I love these sessions. And even though I've watched Paul and an 8 hours worth of video, I can't help myself. I love watching it back. And Paul has just got such a great way of kind of portraying the technology and explaining it in such a clear and concise way that, well, I understand it. So, he's doing something right there. So, yeah, IoT Live over on the Azure Live channel. This was, I believe, tomorrow being earlier on in the week, but it's there available for you to watch. If you've got the time, go and have a watch, because it's really interesting, really intriguing. So big shout out to those guys once again. MC2MC. So, I mean, there's been lots of announcements this week. I mean, and this is the title of the video. I titled it Virtual Reality. It just seems that, and I heard a few people, I think Shabazz was mentioning that we're in this world of a virtual burnout almost, but there is a lot going on. There are a lot of sessions. Obviously, I'm recording this session as well, so there's a lot going on virtually at the moment. But I wanted to give my friends over at MC2MC, obviously Peter Detender and Wim Matheson, they were on last night again on the Welsh user group. They've got their next session on the 27th of May. So head on over to MC2MCBE, Belgium, on Twitter. Go and sign up for their 27th of May event. So looking at adapting big data architecture patterns for real-world scenarios. So that looks like a really intriguing and interesting talk that's going on there. So, yeah, big shout-out to those guys. Again, they're hugely prevalent in the community, and they got some great things going on. So go and give those guys a quick like and a follow, and support them on that journey. Back to the Bradford Cloud User Group, obviously, my friends up north. Well, north to me anyway. So their next event is on the same day. Was it? Yeah, 27th. My goodness, they're on this clashing. We're always clashing. What's going on? So they got Kirk Ryan on, and they're talking AWS now. Boo hiss, boo hiss. Look, at the end of the day, my job entails, as we all are, we're cloud architects, cloud consultants, cloud developers. Absolutely. There is more than one cloud, even though, I'm predominantly focused on the Microsoft cloud. I absolutely do work with AWS and G Cloud to a certain extent, however, not as prevalent for me personally. However, it's out there, and at some point I will be talking a lot more about AWS and G Cloud, but that's what the Bradford Cloud User Group are moving on to at their next talk. So they've got Kirk Ryan on and Kyle Jenner doing some great live demos with infrastructure as code into AWS. So if you are interested in obviously doing things with AWS or the whole infrastructure as code, I know Kirk had recently done some Terraform videos, I believe, Kirk. So go and give them a watch. Jump on over to the Bradford Cloud User Group, give them a quick like, follow, sign up for their next event. I mean, obviously it's going to be clashing with the other events, so you've got to take your pick. Moving on, okay, limerick.net. So my good friend again in the community, hello Carl. He obviously is involved with sorting out and organising the LDNA. They have got Shannon. So she, I mean, every time I see Shannon, she's just a fantastic speaker. Just the articulation, the ease that she explains things. Again, I understand it. So I like people that can explain things that I can understand, because it's obviously they're doing a good job. So Shannon's on. What date are we looking at? June. So we got a few weeks yet, but June the 10th, 8 o'clock, Shannon is coming on to talk about the Azure VMware solution. So I've seen a bit of that talk as well, and it's really interesting and really quite a key thing that's obviously being released in Azure at the moment. So Save the date, June the 10th. Go on over, follow Carl, follow limerick.net on Twitter, and go and show them your support if you can make it. That would be cool. Moving on, again, Tech Nottingham. Jonathan, in terms of the Azure Live gang, with Liam, Jonathan, and Pete, such a great guy. And this popped up the other day for Tech Nottingham. So John is going on to how to broadcast your experience going live. So that'll be a cool one. I know the work that John has been doing with Liam and Pete on the Azure Live channel. So I will absolutely, again, this is a few weeks' time. So the 14th of June, but I'm going to attempt to make that one myself. The problem I find at the moment, like everything, this is the virtual reality. There's so much going on. There's obviously we're getting back to a little bit of normality, especially for me with my kids getting back to their sports. So time is really precious at the moment. But I just thought I need to call all of these fantastic things out because they're brilliant people in the community doing some fantastic things. So yeah, tune in if you can. Go and give them a like and a subscribe. Octopus Deploy. Didn't manage to catch this session, but it was cool to see Gregor and Derek teaming up under the Octopus Deploy banner to look at, basically how to accelerate your Azure DevOps pipeline and platform as a service with Octopus Deploy. So I know Derek has taken me through a few things. I've watched a couple of Derek's talks over the last 9 to 12 months on Octopus Deploy, and it's a fantastic product set there. So it's cool to see Gregor joining Derek there to go through that. So I'm not sure if this session has been recorded. Hopefully it has, but it happened a couple of days ago, earlier on in the week. But head on over to Octopus Deploy. Fingers crossed they've got a recording of that session, because I think I need to go and watch that as well. Okay, next up. Neil McLaughlin, obviously with the UK WVD user group, he's got the next session arranged for the 3rd of June. Neil, as well, he's just done some fantastic things. Obviously, Neil and Kirk run the UK WVD user group. It's going from strength to strength. Obviously, Neil's moved over to Nerdio now with Baz Van Cam. But looking at what he's got there, I know Neil is doing this announcement around the Nerdio hackathon, which looks really cool, actually. I mean, he reached out to me just to get my thoughts on that. And the integration with GitHub and looking at PowerShell and how to kind of put some scripted actions in there. So Neil's going to give us a bit of an overview at that. Get involved, obviously, especially if you are, either using WVD or considering using it. You need to kind of join this user group if that's where you are at the moment, because like I say, Neil and Kirk have pulled together some absolutely fantastic content and speakers, certainly over the last year that I've seen. So go and give those guys a quick like and support. Join in if you can. 3rd of June, 6 o'clock. Nottingham IoT, again, it was a session I missed because the Welsh Azure user group was on last night. But my good friend Peter Gallagher, he's involved with the organisation of this. Happened again, digital twins. It's an area that I so need to gem up my knowledge on more than I already have. This whole kind of digital twin and how to kind of understand your business requirements and business outcomes that you're looking to do, and using digital twins potentially as a mechanism to kind of realize those things from an IoT world. So I'm praying that this session was recorded. So big shout out to those guys. That looked like a really interesting session. I'm going to try and revisit now over the coming days if it's been recorded, which I'm sure it probably has. Next up, again, my good friend Chris Reddington and the Azure Thames Valley. They are looking for lightning talk sessions. So it looks like they're looking to aim for September to do an evening of lightning talks. I may very well try and get something sorted and get something submitted for that. But Azure Thames Valley, another user group, another virtual user group at that. Chris helps run it, and it's going from strength to strength, as is Chris with his content across the community at the moment. So needed to call this out. If you are interested to go and do a lightning talk, those sort of 10, 15-minute talks, reach out to Chris, go and sign up for the session eyes, drop your sort of talk overview in there, and get in touch, because I'm sure Chris would love to have you there. Moving on, cool. Right, my good friend and colleague, Mr. Dean Ellaby, he's been busily beavering away, that was a tongue twister, on creating a new series of YouTube videos across what he's called the Hybrid Handbook. So he's looking at config manager. To call this one out, I had a quick chat with him the other night around, it's just an interesting concept, recording YouTube videos, doing this sort of thing. I always try and, if I'm recording, I'll record it live. If I make a mistake, it stays in. I try not to get too bogged down with the editing process. This is why my videos are always top quality, of course. Wink, wink. So yeah, it's cool to see Dean actually trying a few of the new ways of kind of recording, or the more, I guess, the engaging ways of recording YouTube videos. I've not even attempted, as I zoom into my face now. It's great. I watched Dean's video last night. I always chuckling to myself. But at the end of the day, it's great content, and Dean's such a clever guy in terms of what he does and how he can articulate things. Go and give him some support. So obviously Dean and Andy are running the Get Modern YouTube channel at the moment, putting up some great content. So I'm just going to give him another shout out, especially because of the effort that he said to do a 20-minute video. Took him 8 hours of video editing, which is precisely why I'm avoiding video editing. I don't have the time. But yeah, go and give him a follow. Next up, again, back to Carl Cook. Now, this is, I think this probably took Carl more by surprise than anything else. But it's really cool to see this is where it's going at the moment. So the other day, let's click on Carl's blog link there. So the other day, Carl's, I'll call you a better half, Carl, of course. So Rebecca put up a little thing just to kind of drop Carl in it. Carl was, well, he put up this picture. He was foolish enough to kind of drop the bait in the water. Carl had pink hair once upon a while, and I think Rebecca put up on there, look, 50 likes and we'll convince Carl to get his hair dyed blue, which is cool. So of course 50 likes wouldn't have taken too long at all in the circles that Carl is in. So straight away you can see the thread went a little bit wild. And yeah, Carl, I don't know how many you're up to now, Carl. When this was written it was 126. I'm sure it's a lot higher than that now. But the bottom line is Carl is now going to dye his hair blue on the 25th of June. So I'm assuming that's going to be live streamed, Carl. If not, it should be. But he's doing it for charity, which is pretty cool. So basically, if you jump onto Carl's blog, he's mentioned down here. So Black Girls Code, we've got Into Science UK and Action Mental Health, and the Two Tam Orphanage in Vietnam. So there's 4, absolutely, needed charities. You couldn't put it to better causes at the end of the day. I think Richard Hooper, he says here, is managing the Just Giving page. So if you can, jump on over. There's a link there on Carl's blog. So yeah, go and follow Carl at Irish Techie, or go to irishtechie.com. Find his blog article. There is a link at the bottom to jump on over to that Just Giving page. So that would be cool. Go and support Carl. That'll be a cool thing to see, and such great causes as well to raise some money for. And of course, yeah, the other thing I picked up, not to drop Dwayne in it any further, but it's just such a nice, cool thing to do. But Dwayne's back to school event is obviously happening later on this year, and he just put this message out. So any sessions submitted between now and the 25th of May, so we've got a few days yet. Dwayne has pledged that he's going to donate $5 to that pool of money that Carl has set up for dyeing his hair. So fantastic gesture there, Dwayne, and obviously, again, it's another great community event that's going on across across the community and globally at the end of the day. So that was my community call out for the week. Okay, let's get set up. Again, every week I say I'm going to try and keep these videos down to as minimal as possible, but it just doesn't seem to happen at the moment. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go and have a quick look, just a review on what went on last night at the Welsh Azure user group. So let's jump back on over to the desktop. So last night, the 20th of May, we had our May event for the Welsh Azure user group, and it was fantastic. Obviously I'm going to say that, but no, I truly mean it. We had Peter Detender join us first off, and he took us through the alphabet soup in terms of containerization within Azure, and tried to demystify some of these acronyms and gave us some great insights. And I fully appreciate 15 minutes is not a lot of time to get that done, but Peter did a fantastic job in that, and then handed over straight away to Wim, who took us through Azure Advisor. So those sessions have been recorded. They will be uploaded on the YouTube channel fairly soon. So go and take a look at those sessions. We're looking at about 40, 45 minutes worth of content in there. So there's Azure Advisor from Wim, and Wim takes us through the overview of, how you can use it, what it's all about, the alert levels, category levels, what actually Azure Advisor is all about. And as Wim puts it, it's that free personal cloud consultant for your enterprise. And like I say, Peter took us through that alphabet soup, as he calls it, in terms of all the container acronyms that we've got out there. So they're going to be available. The feature length talk, all I can say is, wow. I mean, we were unfortunately unable to record that particular part of the event due to the sensitive nature of some of the images, obviously, of Azure data centers. It's not something that Microsoft actually want propagated and copied over and over again. So we had to stop the recording, but I can honestly say it was probably one of the best presentations that I'd seen. So Mark O'Neill, one of the data center, I think specialists from over in Dublin, Ireland, he came on, and it was such a, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, an Azure virtual data center tour. I know Microsoft have got the ability to kind of walk around the data centers, and pull out bits of the racks and look at the compute power in a data center, in virtual reality. But this presentation was really engaging. If you get the chance to see a presentation by Mark O'Neill at Microsoft, take it. It was such a fantastic presentation. I can't remember the last time that every word that was spoken I was hanging on. It was just brilliant to see such a mind-blowing presentation on the evolution of Azure data centers, and the technology and the techniques. And I think they're up to Gen 7 or Gen 8 data centers now, Microsoft. It's such a cool thing to see. So if you do get the chance to go and see that, that was a start. Obviously, I took a quick snap just to show a picture of Mark kicking off his presentation. Unfortunately, we couldn't record it, but reach out to him, go and take a look. It was such a brilliant session. So huge thanks to everybody involved in that. We had a couple of quiz prize winners. So yeah, Ross McLaughlin seems to be the quiz prize champion of user groups at the moment. Ross, you know it. But he was, so generous enough. He did win the quiz, but he passed that down, which was a generous thing to do. So thank you, Ross, and it's great to see you at these events. Thanks so much for the brilliant support. You, not just for the Welsh Azure user group, but I know you're active across the community supporting all these user groups. So huge thanks, Ross. I don't think you realise that it's great to have the support of guys like yourself across the community. So yeah, keep it up, and we'll see you at the next one. So the next one, on that note, is on the 17th of June. So again, we're keeping to the similar kind of principle of a couple of lightning talks, so short sort of 15-minute talks. And we've got Baz Van Kam joining us. Baz unfortunately got ill a couple of months back, so obviously wanted to get Baz back to the user group to talk about WV use cases of ephemeral OS disks. So that'll be a cool little talk. Jake Walsh, and again, all these people have been on in the hopper, so to speak. We had such a great turnout and response for our call for speakers a few months back. So, huge thanks to those guys for bearing with me while we got these things sorted. But Jake is coming on, and he's going to talk to us about Azure landing zones, which is close to my heart. So I'm pretty keen to see that talk from Jake. I've seen some of the things Jake's doing across the community as well. He's giving some brilliant talks at the moment. So brilliant to see. And finally, we'll have another lightning talk from Mark Jones. So he's bringing the best of Azure closer to your SQL servers on VM with SQL IaaS extensions. So cool. I mean, I'm not a data person. I know enough to be dangerous. So I'm sure Mark's going to give me some great insights to make me even more dangerous. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but we got those 3 lightning talks. Then our feature talk for next month, the June session, is from Clive Watson of Microsoft. Is coming to give us a bit of a general overview of Azure Sentinel. So from a security perspective, I've seen a few Azure Sentinel presentations over the last few months, and it's such a powerful SIEM product and obviously response product as well. So for threat hunting, threat management, and detection, things like that. So Clive's going to come on and give us an overview of Sentinel as a product. So if you can, head on over at Welsh Azure on Twitter, follow the link, save the date, RSVP if you can. Be cool to see you there next month. And that was my little section on the Welsh Azure user group. And that was an error. Did you see that button press error then? Yes. I didn't mean to put that one. I meant to press main cam and not main cam with logo. Hey ho, that's what happens. And this is why I won't be editing things out. So, okay, let's move on quickly then. So we're going to have a look. Jonnychipz on the side. Yeah, but there's a few things going on in that world at the moment. Let's just jump on over. So first, I want to start off by saying, obviously, a huge thank you to Veronica for the session from last Friday, where we talked about Microsoft artificial intelligence, machine learning, what products and features Microsoft have from an Azure perspective. Brilliant chat with Veronica. Again, she's a person hugely active in the community over. She's based out of Boston in the US, and I know she's very much part of the Boston Azure user group, which she informed me was one of the oldest Azure user group, which is pretty cool accolade to have. So glad to follow in the footsteps of fantastic people like that. So huge thanks to Veronica for the chat last week. If you missed it, go and jump onto the YouTube below. Go and give it a watch, because a great character, great information Veronica has there. Go and give it a follow. But it is Friday. We've got another session going out tonight. And this time it's going to be something slightly different. So we're not necessarily focused on technology as such tonight, but more on personal development. And this is a session with, Emma's an old friend of mine. We worked together in days gone by. She's part of Levelation UK now, which is a strengths coaching sort of program and practice. So Emma's a certified strengths coach. She took me through a session, which is, I'll let Emma explain it later tonight, but it's a really interesting concept, and I got a lot out of it. So I thought it was a cool thing to sit with Emma and say, look, Emma, can we record a session just to put it back out to the community to see if it helps anybody else understand their own strengths, maybe their weaknesses, or as Emma calls them, drainers, those things that kind of stop us or demotivate us. How do we overcome those things? What do we do? Emma has some really cool hints, tips, and of course she's got this program that if you wanted to, you can go through. So that's going to be tonight over on the Azure Live twitch.tv stream at 6:30 p.m. It'll go live on my YouTube about 7:30 p.m. So yeah, hope to see you tonight. If you can join, that would be superb. If not, completely understand, watch it back on the rerun. But yeah, that's going out tonight. Other things that I've been up to this week. So internally with my work, again, Carl is colleague internally at BT Security. Not to go on about BT products too much, but there's a managed SOC that BT offer, underpinned with Azure Sentinel. So, I'd seen seen part of this presentation a few months back about what BT Security are doing in terms of, developing solutions for customers from that perspective. And it was a cool presentation this week. Great to see the products and services that obviously the company I work for are starting to come out with and work in partnership hugely with Microsoft at the moment, and there's more to come. So it's a brilliant place to be at the moment, and it was a great presentation. Oh yes, yeah, I don't quite know what happened here, but for whatever reason, my AI powered cat flap was blocked. Can't be viewed in Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. I have no idea why. I made a point of putting this up because I thought, wow, what have I done? Is it because I'm talking AI, artificial intelligence? Is this something? I reach out, let me know if you know why this is blocked. This video might be blocked now I've mentioned it. God knows, who knows? Anyway, thought it was a bit odd. Who's watching me? Hackspace Mag came the other day. Some cool new project ideas in there. I've just not had the time, obviously, in the circumstances for me personally at the moment. I've not had the time to kind of really dig back into the IoT stuff, although I will be fairly soon with a bit of luck. Hackspace magazine I subscribed to a few months back with the Raspberry Pi Pico when they had one on the front, and it's a great little magazine to give you some hints and tips and sort of project ideas moving forward if you are interested in IoT and what you can do. And in fact, I've recently reached out to Cliff Agius. Hopefully we'll be doing a little session in convo with as well at some point soon, as well as some other guests we got lined up, of course. Me old boss Geraint, flashing the Jonnychipz. So we did a little bit of a tweet and win. If you want a sticker, let me know. I can post one out to you. But yeah, I got some stickers. Obviously, I was hoping when we get back to in-person events, a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's not an ego thing, honest, but I just thought it was pretty cool. He's there flashing the stickers. I sent him some the other day. So thanks for that, Ger. And finally, on the side, it was Brill. Managed to meet up with Scott Hiya, Scott. Yeah, we were in Swindon the other day. Scott doesn't live too far away, so we met up. First time in a pub, first pint I've had in a pub. As I'm sure a lot of us have been for over a year now. So great to catch up with Scott. I know Scott's kind of hooked in with the community a few months back now, and he's been quite a great guy to have around. Really, he keeps tagging me in things that are of interest, and he always hits the spot. He finds things for me. John, do you like this? It's like, yeah, wow, another thing for me to get on with. But huge fun to meet up with Scott and say hello to people from the community. It was a great little bit of a relief, especially for me under my circumstances. So thanks to Scott for meeting up and having a beer with me the other day. So it was nice to see. Okay. On to the final section of the show. Now, it's like I've not I kind of have deliberately put the Azure updates to the end of the video because I want to obviously get the community call-outs and things like that underway. But to be honest with you, I've been trying to read more into the Azure updates recently, managing to a certain extent. But yeah, final section of the show then. We're going to head back on over to the desktop. And we are going to take a look at this week's Azure Updates. So, as always, if you don't look at the Azure Updates page, I would encourage you to, on as regular basis as you can. It just gives you that heads up, that it keeps your eyes opened a little bit to the things that are going on, things that are coming into public preview or being released as generally available across the Azure platform. So you can obviously focus in on specific updates or specific categories within Azure, but I tend to just take a little bit of a broad look, just hopefully some of that sticks in the back of my mind for when I'm doing things and thinking of things. There's not many this week. I think we've got 6 or 7 updates, so without further ado, let's just jump straight on into the first one. So Azure Percept Development Kit, so the May 2105 software update is available. So if you don't know what the Percept Development Kit is, it's a series of sensors in a box that Microsoft have developed, and it's a camera, it's an audio interface, and a bunch of sensors. And as the name suggests, it's a development kit, so you can do object detection, things like that. And basically, there's been some software updates already, so I'm sure this will be a regular thing now with the Percept Development Kit. It's in public preview. I would absolutely love to get my hands on one. I would happily buy one, to be honest, if I could get my hands on a Percept Development Kit, which hopefully they'll be available in the UK fairly soon. So I know that there's some talks going on across the community naming no names. I put 2 and 2 together. You know who you are. Can't wait to see what comes of that. So yeah, that's cool. So Percept is definitely an area that I would love to get my hands on one of those kits and have a little bit of a play for myself. Windows Virtual Desktop Web Client is going to end support for IE11 on September 30th. So if you are using WVD and you're using that web client, then obviously just keep in mind that the support for IE11 is going to be coming to an end. So if you have deployed, I'm saying nothing more. If you've got IE11 across your estate, then you might want to look at getting that sorted out fairly soon, especially if you're using WVD, because support's going to come to an end. Okay, moving on. GA, Azure HealthBot adds new regions and languages for its system checker. Cool. I mean, AI is an area that I'm looking into now. I'm hopefully going to go and start studying properly for AI 102 exam. So there's lots of talk around bots and Q&A maker and cognitive services. So it looks like this HealthBot, they've just added some new regions and languages for its systems checker. So it moved from a marketplace offering to Azure in Jan 2021. So further empowering our organizations to benefit from Azure's enhanced tooling, security and compliance offerings. Today, we are adding 8 new regions: West US 2, South Central US, UK South, Southeast Asia, Australia East, East US 2, North Europe and India Central. HealthBot is now generally available in 10 regions across 3 continents. Absolutely fantastic. There we go. So we shall move on. Azure Stream Analytics. 5 new regions. So it looks like, obviously Microsoft are doing what we know they're going to do. So they've Stream Analytics is certainly an area of Azure that I've been playing with recently in terms of, pulling out those streams of data, those messages from IoT devices into Hub, having them processed via Stream Analytics jobs. So whether that's an edge job run on the local device or whether it's a job in the cloud, which just extracts messages from whatever the mechanism is, whether it's an IoT hub like a message queue, or just that real-time stream of data flowing through, and does some analytics, maybe some data transform using that SQL query across that data that's streaming through. The Stream Analytics job will process that and pass it to wherever it is, with a storage account, whether it's Power BI data set or anything. So they've added 5 new regions, have now gone GA. Cool. Obviously, Australia, Germany West, Norway East, South India, and UAE North. So Stream Analytics is now available in 33 Azure regions worldwide. So what's that? Roughly half the regions worldwide now have got Stream Analytics, which is brilliant. Cool to see. Generally available, IoT Hub Service API support for Azure Active Directory based access control. Absolutely brilliant. So Azure AD based access control for IoT Hub Service API. So you can now grant specific service API access permissions to users, service principals, and managed identities from your Azure AD tenant using RBAC. Fantastic. And, it's just hooking into those fantastic services that Microsoft have got ready available and just making them available to other services across Azure, which is cool to see. In this case, it's the IoT Hub Service API. Generally available. Next one is the Azure Key Vault SLA has been raised to 99.99% availability. Good to know. So yeah, if you are storing secrets, certificates, or anything that you need to keep under lock and key, it's good to know that GA has been raised. I'm not sure what it was before. There we go. It was 99.9%. So they've added one more 9 to that percent. I can't remember exactly. That means you're down to minutes of downtime. There's a calculator. 99.99, I think, is 15 minutes or something. I don't know. Put it in the text. I can't remember what it is. But it's a very small amount of downtime across the year, effectively. And finally, Azure Sphere 2105 will not be released. So 2106 is coming in June. That's interesting. They don't say why. Okay, there's a feed there. They haven't said why on the announcement, but for whatever reason, the update for the OS and SDK 2105 isn't going to be released, but 2106 for Azure Sphere is coming in June. Okay. And there we have it. I'm pushing these every week up around the 40-minute mark again. John, got to sort that out. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it this week. Thanks so much for everybody for your support, for watching this video. Huge thanks to all the fantastic community people that have done some fantastic things over the last week and into the future. If you do like these videos, I'm always open to feedback, comments, constructive criticism. Don't be too harsh on me. I am sensitive. Ideas and thoughts. Please let me know. I'm all ears. Obviously, I'm open to any kind of suggestions. So, on that note, we'll call it a day there. Thanks so much for tuning in once again. Hope you've enjoyed. Please do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this video. But until next week, I've been John Lunn, and this is episode number 21 of Jonnychipz Weekly. See you all soon. Thanks, guys.